Howdy folks, it's your friend Dominic. Today I'm going to teach you how to rig a cane pole. Stay tuned, I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, quite obviously what you are going to need first for your cane pole operation is a cane pole. This is the 10-foot telescopic Shakespeare Durango. I don't believe they make it anymore. In the past, they made them in 10 and 12 foot. Shakespeare makes pretty much the same rod. It's just under a different name now. I'll be sure to put the link in the description below. Elements of the rod itself, at the very end, you can see there is a tiny eyelet to tie to. There's a probably 5-inch high visibility tip. And the rod telescopes out just like this into 3 sections, making this a 10-foot panfish pole. What makes using a cane pole super effective, especially in the summertime, when those panfish, like those crappies, those bluegills, maybe in the fall if you want a cane pole for some perch up here on the Great Lakes, a lot of people have done that before. This is a fantastic tool to put natural baits right on top of fish, especially when they're spooky. Now let's rig this bad lad up and go see if I can bust a couple of fish with it. So now you know, and you probably already knew what a cane pole was. I'm going to show you how to rig it and what supplies we're using. Mainly for what I'm doing when I'm cane pole fishing, a 6-pound does the job just fine. If you're fishing around heavier stuff and maybe you're going to be real tough on your line, by all means, use an 8 if you really feel the need, but a 6 will do you just fine. Trilene XL, 6-pound, does the job. The one thing I will say about your cane pole line, replace it much more often than you would any other fishing line, because there's no spool for this line to go on to. There's no reel when you're cane pole fishing. It's just these brass eyelets a lot of the times, or their wooden spokes you'll wrap your line around. And you're going to be throwing this bait around all sorts of cover, around logs, looking for panfish, maybe around docks. I scrape up my leaders on my cane fish poles when I'm looking for bait fish quite often, because I'm fishing, around docks. Sometimes I'm throwing the hook and the worm over a boat hoist and the line gets nicked up. I'm going on a little rant here, but needless to say, your line's going to get nicked. So you get your Trilene 6-pound monofilament. And what I like to do, I'm a pretty big guy. I've got a pretty big wingspan. I'll open up this wingspan just like that. And then I'll give it another few feet. Generally speaking, I like to have as much line on here as the length of the rod. So it's not too awkward, it's not very cumbersome, and I'm able to flip or pendulum swing baits to the fish and where they're gonna be hiding out at. So cut through that. The cool thing about 6-pound line, you can bite through it with your teeth and not feel guilty. That one goes out to my friends in dental school. Keep studying, guys. We're gonna go down to that very top eyelet where our high vis tip will be, and we're gonna tie just a simple but strong knot to the tip of the cane pole. And I'm just gonna tie an improved clinch knot. I'm gonna spin that eyelet around. Grab the tag end, pull it through. We're going to tighten it down. Make sure you can see that. Just like that, we've got a nice solid knot there, an improved clinch knot. Heck yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Let's get rid of this tag end real quick. Now, in order to really rip some lips, you got to make a connection. And by picking the right hook, that can make the world of a difference when it comes to using a cane pole. A lot of the times when we're targeting panfish with cane poles, it's good to have an extra long shank hook in case that fish bites down on it and sucks your bait. That way you can still get probably 1.5 inches of leverage on the fish and get the hook out, and with minimal harm effects if you plan on releasing the fish. I like a size 6 hook. Any long shank J hook with a small gap will do just fine. I like the 6s. The 4s are kind of beefier. If you were targeting perch or something a little bit bigger with the cane pole, I'd use the 4. 8s are kind of small, but I like 6s. Aberdeen hooks, you can't go wrong with them. What I generally run outside of Aberdeen hooks are these special bad lads called Carlisle hooks. I believe these originated by perch fishermen on the Great Lakes because they have such a long shank and the tip is off center from the shank itself. So when you're getting those wider mouth fish coming in there, biting down on your minnow, biting down on your bait, this is going to hook them in the side of the mouth. A lot of the times where the cartilage is a bit tougher too, and you're not going to lose them. Then again, it's also using a cane pole, so you're going to be dropping on them and picking up. You know, they're not going to be connected for that long ideally. But if you can find Carlisle hooks, go for it. It's what I use. It's what the store by my house had. If you use an Aberdeen, go for it. You can use any kind of hook. I just recommend using a long shank. Something with a small-ish gap. A size 6 will do you just fine. Now, if you remember how we connected one end of the line to the tip of the rod, we're going to do the same. We're just going to run our 6-pound Trilene XL through the eyelet. And we're going to give it a few twists and sink her down. Hey, 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 look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Hey, that's looking good. That is looking good. All right. Now, we're not out of the woods quite yet. This is all you need to catch fish at the end of the dock with a cane pole, or off the side of the canoe, or off the back of the pontoon boat this 4th of July. This is all you really need. But if you would like to put a couple of small split shots on here permanently, by all means, do whatever makes you happy. For bobbers, I like using these thills. They're nice little styrofoam orbs. They're weighted. And I am going to put it probably when I'm rigging my cane pole, let's put it about 14 inches underneath, just to start out first. A lot of the times when I'm cane pole fishing, I'm fishing low water situations. Like if you haven't checked out my video where I panfish a small creek with a cane pole, I'll put the link in the description and at the end of the video so you could check it out. I had a lot of fun doing that. But other times when I'm using a cane pole, I'm playing around with it, or I'm trying to catch bait fish. So when I'm starting out 14 inches or so from your hook to your bobber, that's what I'll go with. That way it has a little pendulum to itself. It's got a little weight when I'm flipping it away from me, and it'll hold a little bit better vertically in the water too if it's got some sort of weight right here. I like that a lot. I am very excited. Let's see what we got going on here. So we have our hook, and coming up from there, split shots are optional. You can affix a bobber if you'd like. I recommend doing so. Give it a little bit of weight to whip it out there. And then we have several feet of line. Remember, when you are fitting a cane pole with line, use about the length of the rod. 10-foot rod, 10 feet of line, it seems to work. And then, hey, it comes down to a cane pole just like this. Hey, how cool is that? Now I'm ready, and if you've been following along with me at home, you're ready to go catch some panfish. Heck yeah, look at that. And just like that, that's how you rig a cane pole. So I'm going to take this rod, I'm going to slide it back into itself. You know, when you're extending it, you never want to pull it too hard. These things can be kind of tricky to ram back into themselves. And I'm going to take the end of this line, and I'm just going to go underneath these two brass eyelets here and just tie off the line. That, tie it there, then around and around again. You know, you might have to untie your bobber depending who you are, what you do. I like keeping it on there so I can put my hook in the little hook keeper that's on both sides of this eyelet. There we go. So I tied it off, and what I like to do with this bobber, I'll take the last little bit of line coming off of the hook and I'll pull it tight and I'll clip my bobber to it. But I'll put a lot of slack in it so that way it keeps the hook and the line tight on itself. Hey, there we go, just like that. My cane pole's all rigged up, ready to go onto the water for the next time. With that being said, let me go through everything I have. Shakespeare telescopic cane pole, 10 feet of Berkeley Trilene XL monofilament, 6-pound test, a Thill float. You can get them weighted, get them not weighted. You can put split shots on here with you if you choose, and you have your hook of choice. Make sure it's a long shank, make sure it's got a small size 6. Don't forget, I'll even put it right there for you so you don't. But until next time, I hope you liked the video, folks. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section below. And please make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Over the past few months, my channel has been growing quite well. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'd like to see a day where I might be able to do this as a part-time job with your ongoing support. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a great day.